What is good, YouTube? Krishan checking back in with another video. In today's video, I will be giving you guys my predictions for the 2024 Mr. Olympia Men's Open Bodybuilding, of course. A couple of days ago, we went through this entire list of all of the guys qualified. We talked about the guys who are going to be out. So there's no need to do that in today's video. I'm just going to give you guys my top 10 predictions and 2 honorable mentions. And of course, break down why I placed these guys where. So let's start off with the honorable mentions. The first one is going to be John Jewett. And I've been saying this for the past couple of weeks. He's my dark horse as far as potentially getting into that top 10. But once you guys see my 10th place prediction, this will make a lot more sense. I'm not sure how Jewett is going to stack up size-wise, and I also think he's going to lose some ground in the back poses. But if some guys come in off, he can definitely get into that top 10, but I have him right outside. Now, the other honorable mention is going to be the Conqueror, William Bonac. Bonac has had an incredible career. I think there's a slight possibility this year's Mr. Olympia is going to be his last show. Even though he won the Impro Classic and also took runner-up at the Dubai Pro to Beirut's Tabani, the guys ahead of Bonac, they're just young, they have more fresh physiques, and very similar to John Jewett. If some guys come in off, Bonac can definitely move up. I mean, he beat Beirut's Tabani, he beat Michael Krizo, and both of those guys could be top 10. But for my predictions, right outside. Now, my 10th place prediction for this year's Mr. Olympia is going to be Akeem Williams. And basically, I was looking at Akeem, I was looking at Bonac, I was looking at Jewett. Akeem is bigger. His conditioning is looking really good right now. This entire year has been good for Akeem. This prediction is heavily based off how he looks right now, and I'm hoping that he's going to bring it. So I'm going to take Akeem Williams for the 10th place finish this year. Now, things are going to get interesting. 9th place prediction, bold prediction, tough prediction to make, Martin Fitzwater. Why did I place Martin in 9th place? Beautiful shape. Again, a guy that has a structure similar to Hadi Chupin, maybe even Derek Lunsford. How is he going to end up in 9th place? I think Martin needs more dense muscle. For his height, he's probably in the 230s, 240s. Again, I believe Hadi and Derek are close to that weight, so it's not necessarily size. I just think he needs more density. Now, I could be very, very off with this prediction. This is a guy that could end up within the top 5. I would love to see him there, but just going through the guys one by one, I'm going to place Martin in 9th place, but I'm going to say his ceiling is 7th. I think this guy can place as high as 7th at this year's Mr. Olympia. And for my 8th place prediction, I have Hunter Labrada, and I can see some of the comments now. How can I place Hunter over Martin? Martin has better shape. He was close to beating Nick Walker. I think Hunter just has overall more dense muscle. Now, it's a possibility he comes in off. It's a possibility that Hunter fades. But if he comes in similar to what he brought to this Italy Pro or possibly even better, I like him at 8th, and I could see Hunter placing as high as 6th at this year's Mr. Olympia. The main reason I don't have Hunter higher than 6th or 8th as far as my predictions go is because most of the guys I have ahead of him just have better structure, better shape, or a better midsection. Could be a combination of all three. But for the sake of my predictions, Hunter places in 8th this year. And placing in 7th at this year's Mr. Olympia, I have the former Mr. Olympia, Brandon Curry. And I believe this is the perfect placing for Brandon. Honestly, this guy is extremely hard to place. We don't really know how he's going to come into this year's show. And I really want to say I think the judges are going to place Brandon in 7th more so than me predicting him here. I could see Martin beating Brandon. I could see Hunter beating Brandon. But this is Brandon Curry. I think the chances of him not placing within the top 10 are extremely low. Being completely transparent with you guys, the fan in me would put Martin Fitzwater in 7th and Brandon Curry in 9th. But the analyst in me and the guy presenting this video to you guys, Curry's going to place 7th. Now, placing in 6th in my predictions for the 2024 Mr. Olympia is none other than Rafa Brandao. And if you guys watch my videos, you've been subscribed this entire year, you probably saw this coming. Now, why do I have Rafa in 6th place? How does he beat Brandon, Martin, and Hunter Labrada? Well, he has the shape to stand next to Brandon and Martin. I believe he has possibly more size than those two. He may not be as big as Hunter Labrada, but Rafa has definitely added some size, and I'm confident working with Neil Hill. They are going to bring a conditioned package, but also bring the fullness. Huge fan of this guy, possibly my favorite physique in men's open bodybuilding in general. I'm rooting for Rafa this year. I think he takes 6th place. And for my 5th place prediction, I have the man, the myth, the Mona Lisa, Andrew Jacked. And I'm predicting him to pretty much do the same thing he did last year, come in and finish in 5th place. Andrew had an incredible showing at this year's Texas Pro, and if the Mr. Olympia was only front shots, he would probably already have 2 titles. But Andrew still needs to work on the side shots. He still needs to work on the back shots. All the guys I have ahead of him have great backs, great side shots. It's just going to be very tough for Andrew to beat. But I do want to say this. If Andrew can match some guys on poses, maybe Andrew wins 4 poses, another guy wins 4 poses, I think it's possible just because of his overall structure, overall look, that Andrew could get the nod. I'll cap Andrew's ceiling on 3rd place as far as this year, but as far as today's prediction goes, I think Andrew is going to finish in 5th place. And I think the mutant Nick Walker is going to be finishing in 4th place at this year's Mr. Olympia. And I can see the comments now. How dare you place Nick Walker above Andrew Jacked? You know nothing about bodybuilding. Well, as I just mentioned in my Andrew breakdown, Nick has very strong back poses, very strong side poses. Nick is going to beat Andrew in all 4 of those poses 100%, and quite possibly the most muscular as well, which is 5 out of 8 bodybuilding poses. Now, as I mentioned, it's possible that Andrew can split poses with some of these guys, go 4-4, maybe push an overall decision based off presentation, but as I just said, guys, you can talk about Nick Walker all you want, but the guy is very, very tough to beat, especially from the side and the back. And I also want to mention this. There are guys that are going to come in off to the Mr. Olympia. There are guys that are going to fade because they're going to be getting posed for rounds and rounds. There are guys that are going to start sweating, but none of that is going to happen to Nick Walker. If nothing else, Nick is going to come in big, conditioned, and pose like a statue. So in my 3rd place prediction, I have Samson Dauda. And I actually waited to make these predictions. I'll be completely honest with you guys. Nick was my 3rd place prediction prior to seeing Samson at this year's France Pro. I've actually seen some people be a little bit negative about this showing, but I don't want to get into that too much. Samson looked absolutely ridiculous here. I'm hearing some people say he can win the Mr. Olympia, and I've said this entire year. If Heidi and Derek are not the guys in the top 2, Samson would be that other name because he is that impressive. And pretty much the only reason I don't have Samson Dauda placing higher than 3rd is because of conditioning. And I think Samson does the work. I think he does the cardio, he diets, but for whatever reason, he just doesn't have as much detail as we would like to see throughout the glutes and the hamstrings, but mostly the glutes. I say Samson finishes in 3rd this year. Now for my 2nd place prediction, I'm going to go with the Persian Wolf, Hadi Choopan. Now, the main reason I have Hadi predicted in 2nd this year, I haven't really seen many updates from him lately. And that's not a bad thing. It's possible that Hadi is staying covered up because he's going to bring something truly crazy. He's going to replicate that Arnold Ohio version, or he's going to come in even better. But I just haven't seen much from Hadi. I've seen a lot from Derek. I've seen a lot from Samson. Haven't seen much from Nick, but honestly, I just haven't seen a lot of Hadi Choopan. I'm not sure what he's going to bring to this year's show. And the little bit that I have seen, I haven't been blown away by. I'm a big Hadi Choopan guy. I honestly wanted to predict Hadi to win this year's Olympia, but just based off recent, I'm not sure. Let's say the Persian Wolf finishes in 2nd this year, and I hope he takes it better than last year. And 2-time Mr. Olympia, Derek Lunsford. I believe that is exactly what we're going to hear in under 2 weeks at the 2024 Mr. Olympia. Derek winning his 2nd title and potentially starting a reign. I said last year that Hadi Choopan could have won the show. We could make a serious argument for Hadi winning this show, but Derek walked away with the win. I see the comments. Everyone is suspicious about the lats. The legs need to come up. Derek has no detail from the front. With all of that being said, he still won last year's Olympia title. I believe Derek is going to be drastically improved from last year's O to this year's O. He's had a full year off. He's a great ambassador for the sport. And of course, him being a great ambassador should have nothing to do with his placings, but I just wanted to throw that in there. Derek, of course, is a great guy, pretty much the perfect guy to be Mr. Olympia, and his physique also reflects that. Based off what I've seen on YouTube, on Instagram over the past few weeks, We are currently looking at the best bodybuilder in the world. But these are my predictions for the 2024 Mr. Olympia, guys. Of course, non-political, 100% what I think. The only decision that's a little bit political is placing Brandon Curry in 7th place. But let me know in the comment section below how crazy I am for these predictions. And as always, I hope you guys did indeed enjoy this video. If you have not done so already, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm Krishan from Go Fitness, and that's it. I'm out.